and welcome to our first lesson for our Heart Energy Center. I don't know how I could be more excited about this section. This section is crazy jam-packed with so many things that you are going to walk away with. We are going to talk about love from every aspect, why we need it, where we need it, how to create the perfect place to foster and encourage love. I promise you, after these couple lessons, you will never look at yourself or anything around you, anyone around you that you love in the same way. You are going to have so much more of a knowledge of what that connection is, why we have that connection, and how to keep it strong, and how to understand when it doesn't last forever. Why is that? So, oh my gosh, I think you and I could spend the rest of our lives on this energy chakra, and we would just be as happy as could be. So, I will get started. So I know that I did have a whole bunch of things for you in our workbook, and look at this. Look how cute this is. Look at this. We're twins. So we'll get to that later. No worries about that. But first I wanted to go into some of the fun things about this section. And we talk about it. It's part of our lives every day, all day. People say, oh, well, let's get to the heart of the matter. Or, gosh, from the bottom of my heart, it bleeds for you. There are so many. I just Googled all the sayings with our heart, or with our breath, because they're one and the same that we have, that we use all together. So this specific area, our lovely brachial plexus, as you'll hear neurologists refer to it as, encompasses our thymus, but most importantly, our lungs, our heart, our shoulders, our arms, and our fingers. And not only is this our area of our heart, love, and compassion, but it's also the area of healing. And that'll make tons of sense as we complete and we go down here. So a little bit about this area. The first area was all about solid grounding, going down. The second area was our water as we moved. It was a very sensual area. Then we got into our fire. This is about air and open space and creating this landscape, or I called it our kingdom or our plateau of peace in the breathwork exercise I put together for you. And it is just this expansive place that is just calm and serene. And that is the place that all of our love actually comes from. It's not this area of heat. It's not this area of grounding. And it's not that sensual area that we're dealing with on our second chakra. The area that our love and compassion comes from. So I want you to close your eyes and envision yourself walking in this beautiful lavender field. There is lavender as far as you can see, just beautiful wildflowers, and it is just calm and peaceful and just the most perfect day still. That is basically the area of our heart. It is very calm, and the only thing that we hear or feel is that sound of our heart, or the sound of our breath, that in and out. There's not this big excitement. There's not these loud explosions. It's an area of peace. So we're going to talk about how to create that, how to manifest that, especially people who are actively wanting to bring love into their life, or figuring out, how do I, for the first time, give love out? Because some people, and I deal with it all the time, they've dealt with rejection. Rejection is a really big thing that we'll talk about in this episode. Could be rejection with a partner, with a friend, with work, with a million different things. But what actually happens physiologically when we deal with any type of rejection, why that happens, what's going on here, and how to break through it. So one of the things you need to know about this beautiful, amazing energy center is the first 3 sections, it was all happening in us. It was our root structure. We've got R in the first section. It was building that stool that we stand on. The second was that beautiful dance and swim of our more sensual organs, finding our pleasure, but that was still in us. Even though we might look for that outside in other relationships, that's all in us. The third was this fire and flame that's in us. This is our very first section where we are going outward. So the channels, the gates in these energy centers from one to another was like 1, 2, 3, up. And this is the first one, and it can be scary of we're going out. We are looking outward to find something. So the first thing I want to talk about is, why do you need love? Why do we all need it? Why are we searching for it in our relationships, and we want to find friends, and we want to find things that we love? It could be a pair of shoes we love, or for me, lip gloss I love. Anything. It doesn't matter if it is a friend or a partner or something. We all instinctively want to find something that we love. And it is something that's extremely primal, and they've done many scientific experiments on this, of taking animals, and even a long time ago they took children and subjected them to an upbringing for the first couple months or couple years where they had no interaction, no form of love, no form of touch or attachment, and what happened to them. And it's, as you can imagine, absolutely terrible. They cannot function. Nothing works. Nothing works if we don't have love present in our life. And the backbone to this, or the reason for this, is we all need unity. So pretend here's our lovely, well, you don't have to pretend here's your heart. Here's your heart. And we have all these little invisible lines, these strings of yarn that go out and attach and unify and connect us to other things. Connect us to lip gloss, connect us to, oh my gosh, I love that tree, connect us to our puppy, connect us to our partner, our children, whomever. But these lines are always coming out of us. And in order for us to feel grounded, in order for us to figure out our pleasure, in order for us to feed this fire, we must have all these pieces of yarn or string going out in a million different directions. And we're giving love and compassion, and we're feeling it at the same time. And it is so primal and important. That's why love is so important. And anytime you take a period in life where people are stripped of love, things that they love, and so it doesn't have to be necessarily a partner, but things that they love, how your health depletes, how what you're doing, your work, everything is fully depleted. We need this more than we need vitamin C, more than we need vitamin B12. We need that connection. So just envision from your heart center these thousands or millions of little pieces of string, and they need to always be connected, and we need to work on that. So that's a little bit okay, so I'm going over center of love. Yeah. So also in this lovely center, I know I talked about this field, this lavender field, and actually lavender is the scent that they associate with this heart center. So that's why I always envision a lavender field. But this is also an extreme area of peace, which is very, very interesting. So often we think of our lungs, this is our left lung, our right lung, even though they are two different parts, they're one thing. They make up our lungs, where in actual sense, especially from this center, we actually think of our heart and our lungs as one organ. So just think of our lungs as one part of it, our heart as another, but really they function together. And if you look at the actual anatomy of your lungs and your heart, they kind of curve around it and hold it, so they work together. So creating an area of peace, that's why this section is so important with breath work, because how do we calm down? How do we create a place of peace when we're so excited to be given a class, or we're racing off to grab the kids, or whatever, all these things are happening. The way that we come back to a place of peace and manifest this place of calmness is through our breath. It's just, and I know the breath work, that exercise that I gave you for this round specifically really deals with it, of how within a couple little breaths we can create that even calm plateau for ourselves. So something that is really important in this center is focusing on giving and receiving. And we'll get a little bit more into it in the next section. But with all these wonderful strings, so we're closing our eyes, we're imagining all these strings out, it is important that we are receiving just as much as we are giving, or else we feel an imbalance. This is where jealousy can come from. This is where dominance can sometimes come from. When you feel some of those lines are not giving back to you, you must receive as much as you are giving. And that's so hard for so many of us as a parent, as a partner, as someone who works in the area where I'm focused on healing. That's kind of my job. it's so hard to think, how am I getting back as much as I'm giving? And we will go into this a little more the next time, but you have to think about the areas that you love, you absolutely love. So you love your puppy. Say that's it. You got a brand new little puppy. In this puppy's eyes, you are all that exists. Every day, every night, all it wants is you. In that line, no matter how much you love that puppy, guaranteed, that puppy is pushing way more love your way than you could ever push back. That is a relationship that's why we are so attached to animals, and specifically dogs. It's like their goal on planet Earth is just to shower us with love 24/7. We had cats for the last 20 years, and they love you and they like you, but it's like, it's a little equal. Maybe I'm giving them a little more love than they're coming back. So that's an example of one of those really strong lines that's giving you more than you're receiving. But there's other things that we love, we absolutely love, that mean something to us, that excite us, that warms our heart, that we do not get things back from. And it's like, say, I love lip gloss, say that's an example. But we're thinking about, in this section, all the things that we really love. And I think often we think, oh, if it's not a person, if it's not someone giving back to me, it truly isn't something I love. And it is not that way at all. We can love a million different things. You could love this course. You could love your favorite pen. Other than doing what a pen does for anyone else, it doesn't really matter. It is not necessarily giving back to you. But understanding each of those relationships, because that dictates where we need to spend our energy. The lines where we are actively getting things back from, that's where our energy needs to be directed, because that's what is going to give us more energy. So I went through that all approval. Yeah, the two things we need to personally grow. So how do we create this wonderful, amazing place of love? And there's a couple things, and you'll probably see this. So have you ever known a couple that have been together forever, and they have obviously a million different threads that go from one to another, a million different ones, because they're bonded from so many different areas. So you look at a partner relationship and think about all those energy sections that we just went through. They're connected from, remember that stool, that foundation. We talked about shelter. So shelter is one of those unifying things. How they're eating, how they're feeling, their fears, all of those things. And you'll see the more deep and significant relationship that we have, there's more of those aspects of different things in all of our energy centers that connect us. So have you heard this? There is a couple. They've been together for 30, 40 years. They raise their kids together. They have all these lines. That unifying force is their children. Every single big line from one to another is another child that they have. So their kids grow up and they leave home and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do because their unifying force, what is keeping them together, are the kids. So that happens so often that there's a couple things we need to know about love. Remember how we said we are in that field, we're in that lavender field, and it is air and it is spacious and we have room to run and play. In every relationship, we need space. How many times do we hear that, you want to know what, I'm taking a break from him. I need room to breathe. I need some space. And the thing is, we need space. When our relationships become so close that we absolutely cannot even breathe. We don't have that room. We don't have that capacity to be ourselves. The relationship stifles. The relationship kind of goes away. Even if we might stay in that relationship for a long time. If we are so close where absolutely everything is one with this individual, understand how important that is in deciding, does our relationship go this way or does it go this way? So what are the 3 things that you and I need to know about relationships? First, the first 3 chakras, it's all about our individuality. It's all about how we approach each. The solution is going to be entirely different, and my needs are entirely different than my partner's. I solve these problems on my own. I am an individual entirely. And then I really have to focus on creating this place of peace. That's my second thing. So am I an individual? Can I handle all these things on my own? Am I making my own decisions? Do I have my own free will? Am I making sure I am not losing who I am at all in this relationship? As soon as we are in a relationship where it's like, we've all been in relationships where we totally lose ourselves. It's like we don't even exist. Have you heard, well, 2 hearts beat as one. We become one. We are so close. We are one human being. Yeah, that doesn't work. You are totally your own individual. So the first thing in making sure that this relationship, whatever relationship you are in, whether it's being a mother or a partner or a best friend, we're not losing who we are or what we want or what we bring to the table. The second is every single day creating and fostering and nurturing this place of peace through our breath, through our awareness, through understanding we need a calm space for this to come out. And the last area, which is really interesting, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, is understanding that for every single line that goes out, as much energy needs to come back to you as goes out. And some of those areas, so you're like, oh my gosh, that's impossible. There's so many areas of my life where I'm giving way more than I could possibly ever bring back in. We need to start looking at that and either develop more lines that come further, closer back to you. And I'm not saying everyone here needs to get a puppy, although that's not a bad idea. But I'm saying that really evaluate all of those lines. Which one is the energy suck? Is the one that takes energy from you every single day and it never reciprocates? Can you not necessarily cut that off, because sometimes that's an important family member, but can you decrease the amount of energy you're placing in that? Can we work on that relationship so you're getting a little bit more in return? But that is when we feel, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I am exhausted. I'm at the end of my rope. I don't know what's going on here. Everything I've tried these herbs. I've got a new bed. I've got a new pillow. I'm trying this mask. Nothing is working. And often what it is those little cords, we are every single day to our job and our family and everything around us. We are giving so much more than we are receiving. So I really want you to think about that. And then I'll touch base on a few other things in just a sec here. I have to go get the kids for lunch.